Here in Florida, Yasir Qadhi, Nu'man Ali Khan are popular. What is your advice to the youth who listen to these individuals? And other than them like Zakir Naik, Yusuf Estes and so on. All of these people are upon bid'ah. They are Ahlul bid'ah. They are not upon Salafiyah. They themselves don't regard them to be, it's not that I make tabdee upon them. They don't regard themselves to be upon Salafiyah. Yasir Qadhi himself said, I used to be Salafi and then I left them. Alhamdulillah, you didn't need me to make tabdee upon yourself. You make tabdee upon yourself. You remove yourself from the ranks of this. He goes, when I was a youth, but then I grew up. Grew up into what? When he speaks about the Salafis, wallahi, when you read his writings, it's as if he's writing those writings from a non-Muslim perspective. When you read his writings, because he's trying to imitate the Orientalists of old. You know, those who wrote against Islam to find loopholes and to find mistakes in Islam, which they could never find. He writes in the same style. He writes in the same style. He regards himself to be a scholar. He speaks, I remember seeing him years ago, images of him years ago. Even though I used to travel to Medina, I always stayed clear of those who were with Jam'iyyat Ihya Turat, because these people were after money from day one. Jam'iyyat Ihya Turat came into Medina and they started buying up the students. We'll give you money, but when we come for Hajj, or when we send, and when you go back to America, when you go back to your lands, you're working for us. No, Mr. Abu Usama Khalifa, same thing. These people are bought out. So I always stayed clear of these types of individuals, even though they're in Medina. Maybe in passing I might have seen him in Medina, but we stayed clear of these individuals. These individuals, when they speak about Islam and the Sunnah, they speak with the language of the non-Muslims. I'm not saying he's a non-Muslim, but he uses the usloob of the non-Muslims. The Muslims, they say. What do you mean they? The Muslims, they say. What do you mean they? We. Where's the we? You're speaking from a detached viewpoint. When he speaks about Salafi, he says these Salafis want to hark back to an era that is bygone. And they want to return, they want to go back to 7th century Baghdad. What he means is, 2nd and 3rd century Hijri. 7th century Christian era. Or the 1st and 2nd century Hijri. So he said they want to hark back and they want to go back to 7th century Baghdad. And that's not happening, not even in Birmingham, United Kingdom. Because he knows that the brothers in the United Kingdom in Birmingham, that they are teaching the Salafi da'wah upon the aqidah of the Salaf of this ummah. So now he's saying, don't follow them. Don't follow those Salafis. Don't follow the Salaf of this ummah. Forget Ahmad ibn Hanbal. That's why when these individuals, they signed that pledge. You remember the pledge that they signed a few years ago with the Sufis? Open grave worshippers. Abu Hamza. Or Hamza Yusuf. The Sahaba of the Sufi Quburi, who translated the Burda of al-Busayri. The Burda of al-Busayri that has been criticized by the scholars for centuries. Because in this Burda, these lines of poetry, this man calls upon the Prophet ﷺ and seeks his aid, his assistance and his refuge. That the whole of the universe seeks refuge in you, O Muhammad. Rather, the universe seeks refuge in Allah, the Lord of the worlds, not in Muhammad ﷺ. He chanted it. He sang it with musical instruments playing in the background. His Shaykh Habib Ali Jifri, who says that the awliya in their graves can do anything. And even if 1 million people call one of the awliya of Allah, 1 million of them call him at one time, he can answer all of their calls simultaneously. Even they can impregnate a woman. If your wife can't have a baby, ask the wali of Allah and he will cause your wife to become pregnant. This is the Shaykh of this Hamza Yusuf. After signing that agreement, Al-Maghrib, members of the Al-Maghrib Institute signed this agreement with a bunch of Sufis. Zayd Shakir, and who else was on there? Zayd Shakir, Yahya Burt, Hamza Yusuf, and others that we have not heard of even. Who? No, Boldy didn't sign. He didn't sign. I don't want to. Alhamdulillah, we have insaf. Alhamdulillah, Ahlul Sunnah are just. We don't commit dhulm upon anybody. Yes, Abu Usama Khalifa is a mubtadi'. He's an innovator upon the tongue of Shaykh Ahmed bin Yahya al-Najmi rahimahullah. He declared him to be an innovator. But haq is haq. He didn't sign that agreement. Maybe he was out of the country or whatever. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he didn't sign. But he sits with them. Haytham Haddad is a signatory. He sits with him. Shaykh platforms with him. And others signed it from the United Kingdom, Abdul Rahim Green, Suhaib Webb, who else? Osama Hassan, this one who thinks that Adam alayhi salam had parents that resembled apes. This is what he says about Adam. The statement itself is kufr. That you're ascribing, first of all, it's a clear denial of the clear ayat in the Quran, qat'iyyah. Clear, cut ayat of the Quran is a denial. Secondly, that is a dishonor upon you. Why don't you say my mother and father are apes? You want to accuse the mother and father of the father of mankind, that his mother and father were resemblant of apes? And he said, and even when they said, oh, when the Hizbis came out defending him, they said, oh, he's repented. I said, let me see the repentance. I saw the repentance. He put it in the Guardian newspaper in the United Kingdom. What was his repentance? Oh, I'm sorry I said this because obviously the Muslim community is not ready for what I have to say to them. That's Tawbah. He signed. Tawfiq Chowdhury signed. Graduate from Medina University. He has an institute which is resemblant of Al-Maghrib called Al-Kawthar Institute. Same thing. Just travel around the world making money out of unsuspecting Muslims. He signed also. Yasir Qadhi, Maghrib Institute signed. And he's a graduate from the Islamic University of Medina. Having a certificate is not a certificate into Jannah. It is not. So these individuals are warned against. Yasir Qadhi, Nu'man Ali Khan. This man is disturbed mentally. He cannot be right in the head. Some of the things that he says. He says people are talking about Eid Milad al-Nabi. Well, your children are upon drugs. What's the connection? What's the connection? Is Eid Milad al-Nabi? He said, I don't want to talk about it. These are unimportant. These are non-issues. What do you mean they're non-issues? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وَالشَّرُّ الْعُمُورِ مُحْدَثَاتُهَا. The most evil of affairs are the newly invented matters, newly introduced matters. And he says it's an irrelevance, insignificant, doesn't matter, I'm not concerned. Why? Because these people want to go around making money. And they know that the speech of the Salafi, that it's not going to win you everyone. Because the speech of the Salafi only wins the sincere one. Wallahi, even if they're few in number, it doesn't matter. The speech of the Salafi wins the sincere one who wants the truth. It's not going to bring you in money. Because no Salafi who is sincere upon Salafiyah does his da'wah for money. No one. I didn't come here for a wage. And I will not ask for any money. And I will not get any money. And I've never asked for a salary. Anytime I've travelled anywhere. Because this is the way. Because I don't want my sincerity to Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all sincere. I don't want that mixed in with money. That now I've got to do this because if I don't do it, I'm not going to put food on the table. So now my da'wah is connected to the food on the table. No. This is not the way that I want to operate. And no one from the Tulab al-Ilm should operate like that. Yes, you can be an imam of a masjid, even a mudarris in a school or an institute. No problem. We don't say it's forbidden to take a salary for teaching the people consistently in a masjid. La bas. This is khair. And the scholars, they allow that. But then to say that I will not teach you till you give me money. What's this? You know, and some of these people, this is how they are. Maghrib Institute earns hundreds and thousands of dollars a year. Maybe, I don't know, millions maybe even. Allahu A'lam. Traveling around the world. Doing magic tricks. From the Maghrib Institute curriculum is to do magic tricks. Did you know that? Kamal al-Makki is one of their keynote teachers. What does he teach? Magic. You know, he's got videos on YouTube on how to turn the excrement of a dog into what? What is it? A brownie. You call it a brownie here, okay? Like a cake, like a chocolate cake. How to turn the excrement of a dog into a chocolate brownie. Right? How to levitate. How to levitate. How to pull out objects out of your sleeve. And they lie. Liars. He said, if you get bored, I'll tell you a joke. And he tells a joke and he lies. Woe to the one who lies, the Prophet ﷺ said, even when joking. Woe to him. Liars, kadhabeen. And they sit there saying that we are following the mother of the Salaf. Find me. perform in front of the people to entertain them. More so that you actually believe that this is a wasila, and from the wasail of da'wah, from the means of giving da'wah. This is Al-Maghrib Institute. So now they advertise and they say, come to our conferences or come to our, our seminars. I don't know how much. Anyone know how much they charge in the US?
$85.
For?
Sometimes $150. $150 for 2 weekends.
$150. The Ahlul Bid'ah of old, like Al-Muhasibi, Al-Karabisi, they had knowledge. Make no mistake. Right? They had knowledge. There were some of them that they had knowledge of hadith, knowledge of Quran, knowledge of hadith. There used to be some of them the companions of Ahmad ibn Hanbal up until the fitna of Khalqul Quran. They used to misguide the people by going out to them and inviting the people to sit with them. Not charge, not even a penny. Sit with them, and you sit with the likes of Al-Muhasibi, Al-Karabisi, and other than them, that you sit with them and they'll misguide you. These people come to you and they say to you, we'll misguide you, but we're going to charge you for the privilege. But we're so fickle and shallow that we'll actually write them a check. Say, here's 150, go and misguide me, do your best. Women, you heard about their Jannah hug? They have a Jannah hug. One of their speakers, when he finishes the seminar, he calls the men to the front. It won't be long before they call the women to the front. But at the moment it's just men, and the women are there just because they intermingle. There's not really any segregation between them, except maybe, the sisters are in the row behind, literally a chair behind. So the men come up, or the shabab, the youth, and mostly youth, and they say, right, we're going to do a Jannah hug. So they start this rhythm, Jannah, 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 and then they start jumping and hugging each other, forming a circle like they call it a scrum in rugby. What do you call it in American football? What do you call it? Huddle. So it's a huddle, and they're jumping up and down in the huddle. Up and down, Jannah, 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 Jannah. And then they all scream at the end with a shout. And then everyone's clapping their hands at the back, and the sisters are giggling at the back, and so on. This is bid'ah. I mean, is there any other word for it? It's bid'ah. It's crazy. Then when they get criticized for it, Yasir Qadhi, the sheikh of the group, comes to the defense. He said, this is not bid'ah. This is from the affairs of dunya. What are you uttering? What's the word they're uttering? Jannah. He says, they're not uttering dunya. They're uttering Jannah. What's this? Not deen? He says, oh, this is not deen, this is dunya. So I'm thinking to myself, are people actually listening to this guy? To this khabith in reality? Are people actually listening to him and absorbing what he's saying? Have we turned off our aql? Like there's an off switch in there somewhere that you've just turned to off. So now whatever he says, you just, it doesn't matter, it must be truth because it's Yasir Qadhi. They are ripping off the ummah financially. Ripping them off. We have durus. Alhamdulillah, I heard today that our brother Abu Muhammad al-Maghribi has a dars almost every single day in his masjid. Anyone can come and sit and benefit. Likewise in Birmingham in the United Kingdom, we have somewhere in the region of 12 durus a week. 12. Sharh al-Sunnah Barbahari, Kitab al-Tawheed, Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, Umdat al-Ahkam, Bulugh al-Maram, Qaid al-Arba'a, Usul al-Sitta, Manhaj al-Anbiya, Fi Da'wa ila Allah. Every day there's a dars, sisters dars also. And then there's a dars in French, because we have a lot of French who have come to Birmingham because of the Salafiyah. They left France and they came to Birmingham. So there's a dars in French, there's a dars in Somali language, because there's a Somali group, a group of Somali brothers there also. Not a penny. And these people go around the world collecting money and misguiding the people. Zakir Naik, same thing. Upon bid'ah. That's why at his conferences he has the same use of Estes. All I say, just go and look at what our brother Abu Abbas Musa Richardson Hafidhahullah Ta'ala has written and compiled against this individual who is at the, peak of ignorance. Doesn't even cut it really with him. Is there anything more than the peak of ignorance? Because if there is another word that is greater than that, he is deserving of it. Absolute ignorance of the deen and Salafiyah and Sunnah. The things that he says about the Quran. He doesn't, he's غير معقول. He doesn't even the Jahmi would think, what's he saying? Even the Jahmi would think, hold on, what has he just affirmed? Has he affirmed our Aqidah, the Ash'ari Aqidah, the Mu'tazili Aqidah? What has he affirmed? His love of the Shia. Yusuf Estes, all of these individuals, Ya Ikhwan, you should know who the Salafis are in your land. And you should know who the Salafi ulama are. And steer clear of everybody else. Steer clear of people like Ikna, or Isna, or Maghrib, or Al-Kawthar, Hizb al-Tahrir, Jamaat al-Jihad, Ikhwan al-Muslimin, Jamaat al-Tabligh, Deobandis, Taliban, FIS, GIA. Steer clear of all of them. Salafi is Fawzan, Luhidan, Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad, Ubayd al-Jabari, Muhammad ibn Hadi, Rabi al-Madkhali, Ali Nasir al-Faqihi, Abdullah bin Abdul Rahim al-Bukhari. These are Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. They are people of Sunnah. They are the people of the Jama'ah. And the brothers of the Tulab al-Ilm in the West, I've mentioned them throughout this lecture. So you should know the difference between the people of Haqq and the people of Batil. Is it permissible for the Salafi Da'i to give da'wah in the Tablighi, Ikhwani or Sufi masajid? No. We don't give da'wah we don't give durus in their masajid. And even if you do go on an occasion, they say, okay brother, we want you to come and give advice to our community. Then the one who has knowledge and ilm and is mutamakkin, he will go once and they will never invite him again. He will go once and they will never invite him again. As Shaykh Al-Albani said, if they invite you and you go there and you clarify their mistakes and you mention their bid'ah, then this person who has a manzila amongst them, has some sort of strength amongst them, then he may go. It doesn't mean that you take all of the Salafis with you and you go there and you teach them the Salafi da'wah and you rectify their mistakes. So let's say Jamaat al-Tabligh have an idea of inviting a Salafi. Either he's going to come and change the whole of the masjid so that the masjid becomes Salafi, or he will go once and they'll never invite him again, because he's not going to go there to speak generalities. But as a general rule, no, we do not go to the masajid of Ikhwan or Tabligh or Sufi. And if you are in confusion about whether a da'i, a caller to Allah or a student of knowledge should go, best thing to do is phone up one of the mashayikh and say, yes Shaykh, such and such a masjid has invited me. There is no one sharing the platform with me, because if they invite you to a platform with other Ahlul Bid'ah, you can't go. We're not going to have a Salafi speak and then half an hour later a Muqtadi speak about Qubur and the worship of the graves, and then a Tablighi speak, and then an Ikhwani speak. He said to the Shaykh, yes Shaykh, they're inviting me. I am the only one invited. No one else. They're going to give me the microphone and they're going to allow me to address their congregation. And I want to go there and I want to speak to them about Salafiyah and Tawheed and about the innovations that they're upon and why they should leave the innovations that they're upon and follow the Salafi way. Ya Shaykh, do you advise me to go? If the alim knows you and he knows your ability, he will advise you whether to go or not go. Because it's not always, in every single case, that when you are invited and they say, listen, the platform is yours, say whatever you want. In that situation, it's better to be safe, pick up the phone and phone Shaykh Ubayd, Shaykh Rabi, Shaykh Al-Fawzan or one of the scholars. But as a general rule, we say no, up until we ask. Barakallahu feekum.